the product.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Dana Lubner. I'm just kidding. I'll start from the top. I'm with Rent Responsibly. I'm located in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to make this interesting for you guys as much as we possibly can. Yeah, so Rent Responsibly has evolved a lot. We have a handful of tools, suites, and services that alliances have contracted with us. Specifically, your group has contracted our member community software. So I'm going to share with you the other services, the other ways you could take advantage of us down the road. But for now, we're just going to focus on a deep dive on the member community software, where Garrett would be doing a demo for you all. At any point that you guys have questions, just jump in. We can pause and answer them. But to kick us off, I'm going to explain to you what Rent Responsibly is. So in essence, we are an education and community building platform that's specifically tailored for short-term rental operators like you. We help groups build alliances. We help groups navigate local laws. We help community professionalize their hosting businesses and ensure that they are renting responsibly. So our mission is to empower you with knowledge and resources that you need in order to thrive in this dynamic, ever-changing world and this landscape of short-term rentals. Some of the services that we provide to groups include things like website design and management, communications like email management, membership sales and management. Legislative tracking is a newer service we've offered in the last year because a lot of groups are finding themselves flat-footed and they didn't know that regulations were in the works until a headline news article came out. And we all know once it makes the news, it's kind of already a baked cake. So we now offer a service that allows legislative tracking to happen in the background through a software called Forum. So we offer that as a service, and then we do things like event management, brand design, campaigns, and a lot of other services. All of what we do are backed by those experienced in the unique needs of short-term rental operators. This is our team right here. So you have Garrett and I on the call tonight, but we also have on our leadership team, Dave Kraus and Alexa Nada. They both co-founded Rent Responsibly. Dave also co-founded NoiseAware. So he figured that there was a greater need than just noise monitoring and said we need community building and advocacy. So that's when he started Rent Responsibly with Alexa Nada. And then a unique fun fact about Dave, Alexa, and I is that we've all started our own short-term rental alliances. So Dave did in Dallas, Alexa in Chapel Hill, and then I started the Mile High Host in Denver, Colorado, and I'm a founding board member of Clara, which is our Colorado statewide alliance. Also on our leadership team, who's not with us tonight, is Abby Booth. She's director of alliance operations, so she does a lot of the management of the communications, website updates, events that our alliance contract us for. And then we've got Garrett Dobbs, who's our director of product. Garrett, do you want to share a little quick background on you, or we can breeze through? I think that's fun
You've
to
done a
just
great
share.
job, Dana. I got started in the short-term rental space actually working for Dave at NoiseAware. I was his head of product there for about 6 years, and then followed him to Rent Responsibly a little over a year ago. But in my role as director of product, that really means that I wear the technology hat. So all the software that we use to support alliances, as well as our own internal business, the things that we need to do, that's kind of what falls on my plate. And so when we get into a demo of the software that we'll be rolling out for NVRP, that's all the work that I've done is what I'll be showing off.
Yes, couldn't do it without you, Garrett. And then the member community software. So this is what we specifically will be going over tonight. We launched it in late 2023. I don't want to give away a bunch of the bells and whistles and features. Garrett's going to go into that, but it is, in a lot of ways, we kind of call it, I'm going to steal this from you, Garrett, because he said this earlier today when we were chatting with one of our clients. It's like Facebook on steroids, but Facebook made for short-term rental alliances and community groups. So it has so many more bells, whistles, and features than just a Facebook group would. But think of it as like a private Facebook group where you can't access it unless you're a member, unless you guys tell us these people are allowed to access the space. But it has so many tools and resources that your members will have access to by being part of this community group, being part of the greater RR network. And if any of this isn't quite clicking for you now, once you see the demo, it's going to make a lot more sense. The features that are included in the member community software are things that you're going to see on the left side of the screen here. But for those that are sitting far away from a laptop, I'll just let you know what these are. You have discussion forums, so your groups can talk about specific things coming up, whether that's somebody's looking for an accountant, or you guys are looking to host your annual yearly in-person event, or there's possibly rumors of new regulations coming. Discussion forums are a great place for those discussions to take place. You have your event calendar that can be found within your member community software, a media center, news posts and updates, a member directory so your members can find each other. Also a local organization and sponsor directory. So if you guys choose to bring revenue into your organization, I know you kind of have evolved in this last handful of months as an organization, but if you choose to build your organization revenue through bringing on sponsors, you can create a directory there for that. And then a local job board. So this could be anything from I'm looking for a cleaner, or we're looking to build our leadership team. You can use that job board in a couple different ways. And then on the right side here, group administration features. This is going to be the things that you'll identify one person on your team that has the ability to manage and monitor. If you do decide to collect dues and donations, you'll have access to see all of that data. Member email management, so you can email directly from the platform. Posting and moderation, you can put events in there, but you'll have one seat. Garrett will explain this a bit in more detail, where you have access to control all the information that you put out on behalf of your community group. And then the great thing is you have access to everything that we put into the RR network. So you're mainly responsible for fueling the information that you put into your group that lives within the RR network, but we are on a daily basis, a weekly basis, feeding new information, tools, events, resources to drive value to all of the members that are part of your group that they have access to by way of being a member of the RR network. So it's all of the national features of the community. So a national vendor directory and partner perks, a national job board, news, a resource library, discussion forums, and national events. If you haven't seen Front Responsibly or been following the stuff we do, I invite you to join and subscribe to our newsletter, but you'll notice we are hosting events nonstop and making sure that we are always helping the hosting community be better and professionalize itself. At this point, I think I'm at the end of my slides, Garrett, so I'm going to turn it over to you to walk us through the demo portion of tonight's presentation.
That sounds great. Thank you, Dana. Okay, I'm going to share a little bit of sort of the nitty-gritty of how we're going to get this set up. And just know that as we go through onboarding together, pretty much everything that we do in this software is highly customizable. So renaming things, adding, removing features, we've got a lot at our disposal to make this work for you and exactly how you want to support your members, your community, etc. So I'm starting from your website here. I know you've got, I think, a member application form, and you're not currently charging any kind of membership subscription or anything like that, which works just fine for us in our software. Basically, all we would need to do is coordinate that I can get the information about who members are that should have access to your community group, and any existing members that should be invited. We'll do a little bit of a handoff there. And then I'll give you a URL that we can add to the top of your website to log in. And that URL is going to take people directly to your community group. So this is how we set this up for most alliances. And I've set this up as an example today. But basically, there is a welcome page that's going to kind of explain the benefits of joining the organization and whether or not you are charging for memberships. Basically, we can limit access to this page based on who has a membership. So if you want it to be an open group and anyone can join, that's absolutely possible for us to do. Or if you want it to go, you want your members to go through an application process and you review and approve, we can also make that work. So however you want to kind of control access to your group, we'll set that up for you so that your members can log in here. And then when they log in from your website, they're going to come straight to your page. And like Dana was explaining earlier, we like to think of this as, I think the right analogy that people kind of clicks for people is this is Facebook for the short-term rental industry. And your member portal or your member group is kind of your Facebook group that you get to control who gets access to that and what information goes into it, things like that. So these are some of our standard features. When your members log in from your website, they'll usually come here to a home page. This is going to show just what's new across the group. If you've got new announcements for your members or new resources or new events that are coming up, that'll pop up here on the home page, as well as new members that have joined the group. So this is very much like a social networking software. It's got a lot of great features, pretty much everything you would expect, like being able to message directly one-on-one with members or start group chats. Everyone's got a profile that has some information about their hosting business or the properties that they own and manage. So you can see that about each other. You can get their email addresses. So all those kind of standard social networking features you'll find here. And like I said, when we go through onboarding, all these things can be customized. We can add, remove. There's some other tools in our tool belt. So we'll make this work exactly the way that you want it to work so that you can provide the resources to your community, to your members that you want. After this home page, we've got a really flexible way to promote basically any kind of event that you want to host. So I think I put in one example upcoming event. It can be on an online event, so people can register with Zoom. We can provide registration information here. People can add it to their calendar. One thing that I love about this software is, just like you've come to expect with a lot of social networking, pretty much everything down here is going to have likes, comments. I can tag in other members. So if you're hosting an in-person event and someone's got a question about it, they can leave that question here. You can respond to them. You've got threaded replies, so you can have longer conversations with members. We'll take a deeper look at that when we get into the forums. But really great support for pretty much any kind of event that you'd want to run. You can even do ticketed events. I know I saw on your website that there were some events that you might charge non-members for. We can charge ticket prices for events in this software and manage your RSVPs, so you have a list of who of your members might be coming to an event directly in this software. So pretty much any kind of event that you want to host, we can promote that here, and then it's available to your members. Announcements is kind of like a blog. It's really great for sharing any kind of text-based, post that you want to share with your members. So I think I put in an example, welcome post here, but this could be regulatory news. This could be any kind of advocacy campaign that you're trying to organize. You could provide information here. It could be a call to action to, show up to a town hall meeting. Generally, anything that's informational you want to provide to your members. If you're doing a newsletter on a regular basis, we always recommend copying that into the member portal as well, so that your members can refer back to any information that you provided in past newsletters. And then it fills that portal with valuable content too. Just like we saw with events, if your members, see a welcome post and they've got a question, they can ask it here. One other really small thing, but I really like about this software is there are a lot of places where it's great to include images like this welcome image here, and you can upload any image you want. If you've got pictures of your community, that's obviously always great, but it's also integrated with like stock photography. So you can kind of search and find a picture that goes well with a welcome post and then add that in. That's what I did here. There is also a members directory. So as we send invites to you and you all get signed in, you'll be able to discover one another here. As your members join, you'll be able to discover one another. I think right now it's just all of the responsibly staff that you see here, but everyone's also got a profile. So here's Dana. I can go check out her profile. I can find some information about her. I can send her a message, and all of those members will be able to discover one another here in this directory.
Is that a sample? Is that a sample directory, or is that, are you guys included on top of our directory?
Generally, we do stay in the group just to make sure that, we're monitoring for if there is anybody posting anything that they shouldn't be posting or anything like that. We kind of help to manage the group. But if you want to take us out, that's also totally your.
I was just curious. You're good.
Yeah. So yeah, right now I think we've got 7 of our own staff in here, but hopefully we flood this with all of your members when we start to invite them to the group as well.
Right.
The file library. So, some of our groups have renamed this as resources or library, but this is almost like having a private Google Drive. So the way that I like to think about this is it really does a great job for any kind of file. If you're doing online events, if you're ever doing any kind of presentations for your members and you get recordings of those events, upload the recording here and your members can come back and watch those events anytime. If you've got like, PDF documents from the city, right? Your permit applications or your ordinances, you can upload those here as resources. And then your members, I have put in one PDF document that's Rent Responsibly's Good Neighbor Guide is an example, but I can read that document here. I can download the file. You can also take that ability away if you've got something private you don't want people to download. And again, your members can write questions, ask comments, etc. So if you've got any kind of file that you want to share with your members, and that's sort of part of the benefit of NVRP membership, you can upload it here. We can organize it by folders, really flexible. But like I said, it's sort of like having your own little private hard drive or private Google Drive. There's also an opportunities feature. So if you need volunteers for any reason, for an event you're hosting, or for organizing your members in any kind of advocacy campaign, or if you're recruiting for other leadership positions, board members, anything, we can post that opportunity in here, and then you can use this software to collect applications directly from your membership base. So they might be interested in volunteering with you, helping out, making posters, whatever it might be. They can apply here, and then that usually, there's a couple different ways we can set it up, but it usually you'll just send that application as an email to whatever email address you want, and then you can review it. And whatever that opportunity is, you can think about that flexibly, but someone can volunteer to help out with anything you'd like. And the last feature here that I think is the most important are the forums. So this is where we see our groups get really engaged with their communities. It's a great space. Anyone can start a new discussion. So any of your members, as well as all of you as leaders of the organization, can start a new discussion. All you have to do is, have a title and a question or a comment or an opinion. We see a lot of groups using this to, share their opinions or ask questions, ask for advice, and then share advice. And like I was saying earlier, this software does a really great job of sort of almost like Reddit, where you can have threaded comments and threaded replies. So it's really great at, I'll just show as an example. So I can, answer the question that's posted in the forum, share my experience or share my opinion or my expertise, and then someone can come in and reply to my comment, and it starts a new thread. And just like most kind of social media platforms, by default, people will get email notifications when people like or reply to their posts, all those kind of things that you would expect when there's a new event or a new announcement. They'll get an email notification so they know to come back and check. But everyone also has their own preferences and settings. So if you've got a member who, is really engaged and you want to make sure they're coming to events, but they're really a stickler for their own privacy, they don't want to appear in that directory, they've got settings that they can hide themselves from that directory. Or if they think they're getting too many email notifications from your group, they can turn that off. So it really does a really kind of great flexible job at, basically managing any kind of content that you want to share and any of those social features that you want your members to be engaging in.
I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
What if we want to remove a comment from someone? Do I contact you, or do we have to do that ourselves?
Great question. So because we're in this group, I'm notified of every single thing that anybody posts anywhere in this software. So that would be for your group, as well as 8 or 9 other alliances that we're working with now, as well as our national forum. So we're sort of your first line of defense, and we'll flag anything that doesn't look right or appropriate. But all of your members, as well as all of you with a login, will have this ability to report content. I can't do it on this post because I wrote it. It's not going to let me report myself. But anyone that sees a post that's inappropriate, you can report it. It gets flagged, and then either your group admin, whoever takes that responsibility, or us can also remove the content that way. But we're also seeing everything that's new that gets posted. So nothing so far has had to get flagged by a user before it gets removed.
Right. Okay.
And then really quickly, I'll just show, we're here to support, we're not going anywhere. So if you've got an event and it's easier for you to send us that information, we can always post that for you. But when you've got a group admin selected, this is what that admin panel looks like. So we would do some additional training on a later call, but you'll have the ability to come in here, create your own events or create your own announcements, any of the things that you see in the front end. An admin will be able to come in and create and manage those things. The admin could also remove content if they needed to. So basically, most of these things have to be created by an admin, and that's either one of your team or us, except in the forums, those discussions can get created by anybody. Now, so that's kind of what your portal looks like. And it's sort of, below the fold here, there's this bar across the top that I kind of ignored. So this is like your Facebook group. And when people log in from your website, they come straight here. So they, have a pretty seamless experience of coming right to your group, which is sort of front and center for them. But like Dana was referencing, the other really great thing about joining the Rent Responsibly network is we're building a network of alliances and advocacy professionals, short-term rental stakeholders and advocates across the country. We're sharing a lot of valuable content and events, and we are giving you the opportunity to connect with other, association and organization leaders from across the country. So when all of your members log in, and you yourselves as well, you'll also have access to all these features across the top, which are pretty much the same things that you find in the group, except that this group is only accessible to the members that you say should have access. And this is what's accessible to anybody that joins the Rent Responsibly network. So it's free to join from our website, and then people can come in and they can discover events from Rent Responsibly or from our partners. So there might be some really good educational events in here, like, events from some of the partners we work with about different software products, things like that your members might be interested in attending. These are all mostly going to be virtual events. We have national forums that people can use to communicate about different things. We have a lot of articles that our team writes, so helpful tips and tricks for how to be a better host, products that we would recommend, things like that. This is all available to your members to read at any time, as well as our own file library, which is primarily those video recaps of all the events that we've hosted in the past. So all these things up across the top are sort of the free national resources that all Rent Responsibly Network members get access to. And then here's some of the alliances that we're working with right now. So all of these, your members won't be able to access unless they purchase a membership to these organizations, but everyone can always come back to my groups. I'm going to be a member of every group, so you're going to see a long list here, but your group should be right at the top for all your members. So this is how they come back to your portal.
Pretty amazing. So I guess the question is, how much is it?
You've already paid for it, so it's free.
Really?
Is there an app for this so you can have like?
So NVRP as a whole, we spent money, what was it, like a month or so ago to join Rent Responsibly. So every member of NVRP currently will have access to the things that Garrett and Dana have talked about so far.
That's awesome.
So, there's a lot of things that they have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of emulated that, but nowhere is elegant. I mean, we had.
Yes, yeah, our website is very similar to what they offer, but obviously they have even more things because they connect us with, other cities, other STR property managers and owners and people who are a part of Rent Responsibly. And then, they also post other information articles. Do you guys have like webinars and stuff like that also that you guys post, or?
Oh, absolutely. We have webinars that our partners sponsor and post in our network. And we also do annual summit events, full day or multi-day webinars with a lot of different presentations. And those are all things that your members will have access to. So
we've already paid for a 1 year subscription to be a member of Rent Responsibly. I know that we waived membership fees for NVRP for this calendar year. If we want to continue with Rent Responsibly, we will most likely have to start charging fees again because, we can't sustain our subscription with you guys with no budget, no fees. So, so as for the members that I'm talking to right now, that's what, I think this is a great year to take advantage of Rent Responsibly and their website and all the things they have to offer and make good use of that so that, so we can get some good feedback in terms of what we want to do in the future with Rent Responsibly. Sorry, my dogs are eating their dinner right now, so they're slurping up water and making lots of noise.
Garrett,
Stephanie, I think you've got a really smart mindset. And just like Dana was saying, we have a lot of services that we offer to help alliances grow and be successful. And a lot of our clients will add on services as they grow. So whatever state that you're in, right? If you're thinking about, introducing dues again or finding other ways to monetize your membership, now that you're on a contract with us, we're not going anywhere. We're always here to provide advice, support. So if you want to add services in the future, we're obviously always open to that. But we can also provide some advice for how you could make sure that you're, building a sustainable organization. And we can look at monetizing events or monetizing membership. Collecting donations even might be enough to just kind of continue this kind of social community group. So I think we've got a lot of options on the table, and we're always happy to provide advice. That kind of is, I think, is a great segue. I heard one question about a mobile app, and we do not have a mobile app for this software, but I did pull up this screen just to show that the software does a really good job of being mobile friendly. So you can access it from your mobile phone, and then it'll do things like collapse your menu here. So, here's that announcement we looked at earlier. Everything goes into a little hamburger menu. So it works really well from a mobile phone. It's just not a dedicated mobile app.
Okay.
Let me jump
dynamic.
out of here.
Yeah.
Garrett, I was going to ask if you would show them the community builders group.
That's exactly where I was going next.
Oh, good. We share a brain. I'm honored. Um, so one of the things you have access to when you work with Rent Responsibly is this community builders group that Garrett is just navigating us towards. So these are short-term rental alliance leaders from around the country. We used to manage it from a Facebook page, but we moved it over to the RR network. And in here, you'll find inspiring stories, opportunities to sign up for webinars. We're doing a webinar on April 10th. It's yep, right here. It's all about membership sales mastery, learning how to set up your organization to have memberships, how to retain your members, how to grow your memberships. So this could be something that you maybe later down the road watch as a replay. It's a nice additional community space that is just for those in leadership. So I don't know if everyone on this call is considered on the board or not, or if you're just more broadly members, but those of you that are part of your leadership team of your group are welcome to join this space. You can add anything you want, Garrett, if you'd like.
Yeah, this is basically a group that Dana is the moderator of this group, and it's really for collaboration among alliance leaders. So it's a great resource, just like your community group would be private to your members. This community group is private to alliance leaders and people that have board or leadership positions with alliances. And it becomes a really great resource to share information, ask questions. When we're working with our clients and they bring us a challenging question, we post it in here and we get feedback from our community of alliance leaders around the country. So this is another thing that's sort of just a perk of joining this network is, yes, you'll have your ability to manage your own community group, but there's some other things that might be valuable resources to you as well.
So I'm sure Julie and Paula have told you that we are an affiliate of the VRMA. Are you guys affiliated with that national association as well? And if not, are you planning on having some sort of connection with them?
So the VRMA and Rent Responsibly are partners.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, we partnered with them, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago. There's a lot of synergies between helping people from an advocacy perspective, and then the advocacy fund that they've been growing successfully over the years. They have oftentimes allocated grant funds to groups we work with for contracting a lobbyist, having an economic impact study done. A lot of ways in which the financials are essential that volunteer hours simply can't cover. So yeah, it's a synergistic relationship with the VRMA.
Okay. Maybe you guys can maybe give us a little bit more detail about your guys's advocacy efforts, or how you guys can help us locally. Because Paula was mentioning to me that you guys have the ability to help us. Let's just say, in terms, we have a lot of potential regulations, that are going to be going into effect here in Clark County And, there is at least one lawsuit going on right now. We're waiting for unincorporated Clark County's ordinance to really come into play. Right now, it's a little bit on hold because of that lawsuit. But, that's one of the reasons why we decided to join with you guys, is to have that, I don't know if you want to say backing, but just to, have you guys help us potentially in the future with that.
Yeah, so on our website, we've got a whole section that's dedicated towards advocacy as far as resources go. I personally work closely with the leadership from an alliance perspective and helping them understand how to be a more professionalized advocate, how to do public speaking. All of the leader seminars that I craft are truly based off of what leaders are sharing with me that they need help with. And then I bring in a subject matter expert and they present on how to hire a lobbyist or how to give an effective public comment or how to come up with your talking points. So there's a lot of resources that already exist on our website that you can find in that top navigation bar. In addition, we have, I host office hours. It's on the second Tuesday of every month. So I have an hour that you can sign up for free. You can join office hours. It's oftentimes other alliance leaders that are like, hey, I want to chat with you about X, Y, or Z challenge that we're facing. And then the other folks on the call collectively with myself will help troubleshoot their challenges and what they're needing to address, kind of with like the brain trust collective wisdom of those that are participating in that call. So it happens every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then you can hire us for additional services, like as you guys determine what your needs are. Like I was briefly talking about in the very beginning, groups have leveraged us for board coaching and development. Or if you have a specific regulation that you're looking to battle, you can hire us for a campaign around that regulation where you're looking to get email communications put out or political messaging put out. There's a certain things that we don't touch, and it's good for folks to know that. We're not attorneys. We can't do anything related to legal. We're not lobbyists, so we can't lobby on your behalf. And then policy guidance, we can weigh in to a degree, but we don't work with groups to draft policy on their behalf. That's just something where we're more focused on how do we support groups growing, how do we support them educating and elevating hosts within their community. So there's a handful of free resources that you can take advantage of. And then there's ways that you can contract rent responsibly for more services other than just the member community software.
I'd add to that, Dana. I think I actually stole this analogy from Dave, but I like it and I used it on a call I had yesterday or the day before. But and I think this is why our partnership with Verma is so perfect, because Verma can take the Air Force approach to advocacy. They can raise a lot more money than we can, and they can use that advocacy fund to drop bombs where they need to go fight, regulations. They can go target a bill in Florida or target a bill in Nevada. But our approach to advocacy is more like the Army, where we're looking to build local communities. So the tools that we provide you with, the coaching that we provide you with, and the help that we can provide is really more about organizing the hosts in your community to do grassroots advocacy so that you can use this, this portal as a tool to motivate your members to come to a town hall meeting and provide and speak, provide a letter to the editor or write letters to their council members. So we really focus on that kind of grassroots Army mentality of advocacy. And those are hopefully all the tools and the resources that Dana was listing are all things that will be valuable to you to sort of mobilize your community in order to achieve some of those advocacy goals.
Okay. Do any of you guys have any other questions for Garrett and Dana with regards to rent responsibly?
No, it's impressive.
Do you have time to sleep? My God, it
Yeah,
seems
you said something about the admin on the back end in the beginning. Is that right? That kind of handles all the, putting in the members and, doing the website stuff on the back end.
Well, members would be adding themselves. The admin person basically determines permissions for different
I
things.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be admins essentially of the entire network and of your group, and then one person from your team will also have a group admin seat. I will say that some of our groups, and if you're interested, I can show you some of our other groups and how they've got it set up, but we have some leaders that are really engaged and do a lot of that admin work, and some that don't ever use it at all. And either way is okay. We'll make sure that the group is functioning the way that you want it to, and we'll sort of cover those bases. And then anything that you want to do on top of that, like creating your own events or announcements or changing features, etc., you'll have that ability. We also have a built-in kind of emailing campaign tool that works really well here. It's just going to be able to go to your members, not any sort of, subscribers that you might capture on your website. But there's a lot of things that you can do with the admin tools. We'd go through a deeper training because it can get a little complex, but whenever you've got someone on your team that kind of wants to volunteer for that role, they'd book a call with me and we'd walk through all those tools together.
Very cool. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, is there anything else that you guys want to tell us in terms of everything? I know that I do need to get on call with you, Garrett, so that I can do that initial orientation and get our current members set up into the system.
Yeah, I think we have a few decisions to make and I'll need a little bit of help making some updates on your website, but really it's just not very complex. We should be able to do it pretty quickly.
Okay. Jim, I know you're more tech savvy. What kind of questions do you have?
That's very straightforward to me. I mean, it's way better than the rubber bands and duct tape that we put together, so. The only thing maybe I didn't see it, but would be a calendar, but that's, we can get around that.
Specifically for events?
Yeah,
Yeah, there is actually. It isn't the default, but we can highlight this for your members. There is, normally when I come to this events page, it's going to show them in a list, but I can actually change to show it as a calendar if I prefer.
there it is.
Okay, that's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what we like.
There you go.
Love of calendars.
Because some people here don't have calendars.
Well, and what I always do, but again, you kind of got to meet your members where they are, make things work for them. But what I always do is I use the add to calendar feature, and I live and die by my calendar, so that's where it all goes.
Cool, awesome. That's the only question I have. It's amazing, so.
Well, we really appreciate hearing that, and we're really looking forward to working with you more, getting this launched and helping you grow your group and be effective.
Awesome, thank
really quick, once I give you guys the names for everybody right now with NVRP, does each person will have to set up their own login information and add their profile and all that stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, it is pretty simple. So what we do is basically your group is going to get its own sort of branded email template. So you can have a welcome email or an invitation email with whatever copy you'd like to have. It'll have your logo in the top. If we do a little bit of extra kind of website work, we can also do validation. So that can actually come from an your web domain at nvrp.org email address if you like. And then that invitation email can include whatever information you want and has a link that says click here to log in. It actually says click here to activate your account. And then just like with most software, they do have to set a password for themselves. And then their profile, it only asks them, I think, 3 questions: how many properties they own, how many properties they manage, and where they're located. And those are the questions that we ask, and then they're in. And if they want to come back and add a profile picture later, they're welcome to. There's more information they can add to their profile. But to get started, it really only takes about a minute or 2.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you guys. That was very informative. And we're excited to get started.
We are, well, thank you for the opportunity. It was really great meeting everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, it was great.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Have a great night.
Night.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so I will be setting an appointment with Garrett to do the initial overall orientation with him to get whatever information we have right now set up with them. And then once that's done, then all of you guys should be able to, we'll get that email, I guess, so you guys can set up your login information, your profile information and everything.
Okay,
Okay.
Perfect.
do we have you talked to Julia, or have we set up the new election for the new officers for the new year? Because I know
So that is something, okay, so Julie has actually had some personal stuff come up. So she actually is taking a little bit of a step away from NVRP at this moment. She's taking a step away from just about everything, actually, and except for she's just focusing on her family right now. She's got some stuff going on. So for the next few months, we're going to be without her. So we are, you know, as you mentioned before at the beginning of the year, that we are setting this up more as a social group. So one thing that we will want to talk about sometime very soon is in terms of the leadership moving forward. So whether, you know, obviously we don't need to have a board of directors or anything like that, but, you know, in terms of having a group and having it organized somewhat still, we do need some leadership, right? We need to have someone who's going to help plan each of the monthly meetings. If we want to do other social events as well. You know, we are not collecting any membership dues this year, but that doesn't mean that we're limited per se. There's, you know, we can have paid events if we need. We can have other events where maybe people want to donate the place or food and drinks, whatever the case is. But I think the biggest thing for this year is to really just continue to provide good information for everybody, and then just helping to grow our group so that, you know, in the coming years, when we start collecting fees again and doing things, you know, doing this on a little bit of a larger scale, that we'll have the ability to do that again. So, you know, I mean, having the Rent Responsibly subscription is great, but it does cost a decent amount of money, you know, and so there's no way that we can continue to be a part of Rent Responsibly in the future if we are not collecting some sort of dues or having people donate money to our social group.
So when you meet with Garrett, is that going to be this week, this month? Because after you set that up, then basically everything that Essie's been doing with all the emails, Rent Responsibly is going to take over and send out a text saying, come and set up your portal with us.
Yeah, so in the future, yeah, so I'm hopefully going to be meeting with him this next week, sometime before the end of the month, so that you know, for future monthly meetings, we can either call him or email or text him and just say, hey, like, we need to set up a new event for this month. Can you put in the information, shoot it out? Or like he said, you know, one of us can do it on our own as well on the admin side and get that set up. So yeah. I mean, since we're on this, you know, all on this Zoom together really quick, I mean, Essie mentioned that Jim would like to be a part of leadership again. Is that right, Jim?
That's correct.
Okay. And then, you know, the rest of you guys, like, what are your thoughts? I know that Essie has stated her thoughts earlier, you know, a few months ago. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I want to be part of the group, but I don't know that I want to be. I feel like I'm chasing every month.
Yeah, the admin is just let RR take care of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's not even just it's not even the admin. It's just the, you know, we never like the finding the topics, and I don't know. It just.
It's
I-
kind
I-
of,
I-
it's
Yeah,
kind
it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I feel like we're
And-
scrambling
and
every
if
month.
we're scrambling, it's kind of hard to take care of your stuff and, you know, and put it in place. So.
Well, we used to, in the past, we would foresee what topics we wanted to talk about in the next couple of meetings, you know, we would, but it just seemed that that kind of went away. We lost that aspect of our meetings of planning ahead, you know, for topics.
Well, we
Something else.
have planned the first few months of this year already. So we did have things planned until the end of this month, actually. The next few months, we do not have any assigned speakers yet. I think last year we were starting to get into this habit of you know, either me or Julie or Paula presenting every month, you know, which is not necessarily what we want to do all the time. We are, you know, we do have information, but I think that it's really good if we can get other people in the industry as well to talk about the knowledge that they have, their expertise, and how they can help us. You know, I know that Paula and Julie don't want to always be the ones speaking at every meeting, you know, and they have way more knowledge and information than me. So, yeah, so I mean, that's definitely something that, you know, we need to think about for the next few months, because we don't necessarily have anything in particular specifically planned for April, May, and June, is to think about who we would like to hear from next, what kind of information we would like to talk about. I know Paul and I actually have brainstormed some ideas already, so maybe we'll do a little chat, you know, either through email or in WhatsApp. So I know that a lot of other members in this group, they don't really have a lot of input. So, I mean, so far it seems like what we've been able to give to them in terms of information has been really good. But we want to make sure that we're still providing good emerging information for them so that they can use that for their businesses.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
So,
I think we're good.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you for hosting,
You're
David and
welcome.
Nessie. Sorry you couldn't be there again. But
Kids get sick.
let's, what was that? I know.
Kids get sick. It happens.
Yes, she's been sick for a little while, but it's gotten a little worse. So anyways, hopefully that'll be good soon.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you guys, and I will let you guys know when we're set up with Rent Responsibly, so you guys can get your guys' accounts all set up.
All right, thank you, Steph.
perfect.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.